Good day, and thank you for joining us for another edition of Conversations with AARP in the Virgin Islands. I'm Troy Deshabert-Schuster, State Director for AARP in this territory. For more than 60 years, AARP has been working to advance the health and overall well-being of older Americans by providing reliable information, advocating for their needs, and offering valuable driven resources. An integral part of our work is to improve livability in our communities for residents of all ages, abilities, and background, so that they can thrive where they live as they age. Our vision is for a future in which communities are great places for people of all ages. AARP is doing this work nationwide, including here in the Virgin Islands. Today, I'm pleased to share some exciting news as the Virgin Islands Trail Alliance is receiving a $25,000 grant through the AARP Community Challenge Grant Program to help develop a project that fosters inclusivity for persons of all ages. This is part of a total of 3.6 million investment being awarded among 310 grantees across the country. Today, we're joined by Alma Winkfield, President of the VI Trail Alliance, and Steve Cohen, Vice President of the St. Croix Hiking Association, to learn about the community project and its impact on the St. Croix community. So welcome, Alma and Steve.
All right.
Good day. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good. Thank you.
thank you for being on the show with us today to tell us about this exciting project and about the Community Challenge Grant. And for our listening and viewing audience, AARP conducts this Community Challenge Grant every year, and you can find out more about it at aarp.org. And then there on our website, you can search out the Community Challenge Grant or just Challenge Grant to make it easier for you. And there's an application process and a judging process. And then each year, an organization, sometimes more than one organization, each state is chosen to receive the grant for short-term, quick turnaround projects. And so here in the Virgin Islands, the VI Trail Alliance has received this grant now a few times. They always come up with great projects and write an excellent grant application, grant proposal. And so this year they have received that again in conjunction with the St. Croix Hiking Association. And so we have Alma and Stephen with us to tell us more about that. So where shall we begin? First of all, Alma, tell us about the Virgin Island Trail Alliance in general and what you all do. What is your mission and what are some of your accomplishments so far? Just on a high level, I know you've done a lot. So just give us a brief overview of the VI Trail Alliance.
Thank you, Troy. Yes, the VI Trail Alliance was first started as a nonprofit back in 2016. And it was a time when like-minded people came together, and we wanted to build trails, hardened surface, multi-use pathways, green spaces, and parks across the territory. And because most of us were located in St. Croix, that is our focal area. And to date, we have several miles. Many people will know, are familiar with the Windsor Farm trails, approximately 8 miles of trails, groomed. They are complete with picnic tables, lookouts, mapping. There's historical signage, tree species signage, and they're just a pleasure to walk. 90% of the pathways are under the natural canopy of the trees. And so this is the type of work we do.
Very good. And Stephen, tell us about the St. Croix Hiking Association.
Well, the Hiking Association, it's been established quite a number of years ago, close to 30 years, on St. Croix. And what we basically do is escort people, groups that are willing to join us into the bush. And the the hikes or walks can really vary in intensity. Some are very easy walks, fairly short. Other ones can be very, and we warn you accordingly. Some can be very vigorous and pretty much, but we do have you escorted. We always have people watching, making sure everybody's okay. We bring back everybody we start with, hopefully in the same condition, maybe just a little tired. And one of the reasons I joined years ago was we get access to many places that even local residents aren't aware of. And it's really fun because, you come here, you go to work and you go the beaten path and go shop in the same path. And, for years and years and years. And then I joined the hiking group and went into places I didn't even know existed. Everything from windmills to, excuse me, to historical ruin sites to beautiful vegetation that totally unaware of. When you're driving down the road, you're not even aware of what's a block away from you in the bush. So it really opens up what is in St. Croix of beauty, and that can be enjoyed.
Wonderful. I look forward to joining you on some of your hikes in the future. I love hiking, and I was born and reared in St. Croix, and I sometimes I think I know the island very well, and sometimes I come across a part of the island I've never seen, and I realize I don't know the island very well. So I'm sure it'll be enlightening for me to go on some of the hikes and see some of these areas of which you talk, areas that maybe just a couple of blocks, as you say, right off the main road, and we don't even know what's in there. So looking forward to that. And Alma, you have been very involved with AARP and the Community Challenge Grant and our Livable Communities work. Just from your perspective, tell us your thoughts about AARP and our Livable Communities work, and then lead us into your thoughts and views on the Community Challenge Grant.
Well, I think it's important for people to know that AARP does many things. They're not just assisting seniors in place. They are out in the community making special places, giving, they promote issues that are relevant to people. But with our particular area, we're looking at transportation, and we have found that transportation is limited throughout the territory. We don't connect well to places of daily needs. We have limited trails, and it's all an area that can be expanded. We have the infrastructure to do that. We are a large island. We have beautiful seascapes and hillscapes in which to expand on. Now, we are especially pleased to note that the grants that we have received from AARP are actually national grants. These are not coming from the local office of the AARP. When we apply, we are going national, and we are vetted against other projects across the country. And so we're quite proud to say that we have been able to be awarded funding for trail projects in the territory 3 times. The first was in 2019. We wanted to choose a project that was very visible and could really impact lives and put it in a place where we thought people would actually utilize. And so our project, we chose a very good street length, which was the bypass around Christiansted. Number one, the road surface was very good, and we identified that the side or the paved surface between the sidewalk and the main driving road was wide enough to actually put a bike lane with proper striping. So that was the title of our project. It was the first bike lane in the territory. We also identified at the lookout at that time it was very overgrown, and bougainvilleas were out, and you couldn't see, the beautiful lookout views. So we went in, and this grant allowed us to clear that all out. We actually had the fire trucks up there to wash down the area, and we're drawing community in to the project. So it's not just the VI Trail Alliance, it's all the community people and how they can work together to make a common space. DPW provided us with lift trucks to put up flags. We worked with My Brother's Workshop to have special benches and picnic tables, not only built but installed on the bypass, and special flower boxes and seating down by the graveyard along that same pathway. And through that same grant system, we were able to go down and work at the Cannigator Ballpark. And under the big tamarind tree, we installed a very unique sitting storytelling circle, as well as picnic tables. We beautified the tree, and it was a place that was not a desirable area, and now it's well used. People know about it. They say, we gather there, we tell stories, we have picnics, we use it. So this is the joy of our projects. This is what it does for and with community. So that was a very, very wonderful project. In 2021, we applied again for funding, and we did receive partial funding that year. And as it happened, we were able to combine it with other funding to actually make amazing improvements to our existing rugged trails through the Windsor Park area. Now, the Windsor Park is actually on agricultural land, and Department of Agriculture supported our work to build these trails and to make the improvements. So the trails are well mapped. We have beautiful graphic signs. We have actually worked with our local historians, people like Olassie Davis, George Tyson, to provide the historical information and the tree species knowledge that we post along the trails. So this was our second project, and then we will start later on. We'll start to talk about again the award that we're just receiving now in 2023.
Great. Thanks so much, Alma. For our audience, again, it's so important for people to be aware of what AARP is doing in the Virgin Islands. We do a lot of work here all across the territory, not just St. Croix, but as well as St. Thomas and St. John. And we encourage everybody to follow us on Facebook, AARP Virgin Islands, and we also have AARP Virgin Islands in Espanol for those who speak Spanish. And we also have our website, aarp.org/VI. Lots and lots of information as to all the work that AARP is doing at the VI, not only livable communities work and changes to the built environment, like trails and bike lanes and so forth, but also our advocacy in general. And today, listening to both you, Steve, and Alma, it makes so much sense that you all work together between trails and hiking, right? So if you will, either one of you, if you can lead us into the discussion on your project for this year and what you hope to accomplish using the grant.
You want to take it, Alma, or I'll go?
Well, I'll take the grant portion of it. First of all, I'll pass it off to Steve regarding the history, but I'll give a brief rundown. Through our work with the St. Croix Hiking Association, which started in about October of this past year, we collaborated and we reviewed projects that were important to each other. And one of the projects that stood out was the Estate Adventure Trail. This was a trail that was actually was created many years ago. And the trail required multiple organizations and government agencies to come together to actually complete the trail. And Steve, tell them a little bit about that history of when it started.
Okay, originally the trail was identified, I think, around 2005. Excuse me, and because of the interest, and there were a number of key people involved going to the government saying this is Department of Agriculture property, it's just sitting. We got some interest in the Extension Service and the idea of planting additional trees to add to the beauty of the area. The area was developed, well, there was basically a trail, some grant money showed up that allowed a pavilion with picnic tables and shelter roofing that you could have meetings and, you know, whatever, lunch just literally off the center line. Let me give the location of it so it's a little more identifiable.
Yeah.
The right across from the Department of Agriculture, where the fairgrounds are and where the Saturday market is, literally across the street, there's a small bridge that goes underneath center line and enters into the northern part of the side of the street. The area was cleared a little bit at one point, and we've got to clear it again. Grass has been growing, and the gut that comes underneath through the old Danish bridge from the north side coming down from the mountains. The gut runs under this beautiful bridge that hopefully might even be restored and preserved. And then the gut runs all the way down to the Department of Motor Vehicles. So it was identified as being, you know, very accessible, mid-island, fairly level, you know, a great place to bring into not just the community, but, you know, give seniors a real easy access to get into the bush, enjoy the beauty of it, and very easy accessibility, parking, the whole thing. So that's why it was identified, and we got cooperation with, like I say, grant money, and also the Department of Agriculture and government. So the initial trail was very nice. It was elaborate. There were some beautiful wood bridges done. Walk over that brought you over the gut a couple ways back and forth along the route. However, between floods, what was it? Let me see if I can get you the date on it. The big one, we had a flood and a hurricane. Okay, here you go, Omar. We had floods which kind of banged the place up and knocked over some trees. And then Omar came in, in 2008. And we couldn't even find the trail. We were having a hard time even finding the bridges, which are like heavy telephone poles and substantial structures. The whole place was devastated. So we tried a couple times to go in, take a look, see what we could do, but it was just so much work that needed done. Basically, we couldn't have enough manpower to just deal with it. So it sat dormant until it was recognized as a possible option to redevelop, and that's how Alma became involved and, you know, was able to file for the grant money.
So is the trail walkable at this point, or are you working toward making it walkable? What's the condition of the trail at this point?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Perhaps I can say that the trail is overgrown, but we have done discovery walks, and this is why I saw it as a great opportunity for the AARP project funding, the challenge funding, because the gut surface is, it'll take minimal clearing to actually make the improvements. While we were doing discovery trails, we actually identified beautiful old stock mature trees, and with a little clearing out, they will be feature trees. Most of the gut itself is under the canopy, and so these are shaded walkways, relatively flat and during the dry season. And as we know, our guts are dry 90% of the time. However, we also see that we can cut a new trail along the edge of the gut leading all the way to the DMV. So during wet season, we would still have access to that. And in actual fact, what we're doing is removing invasive species. We have naturalists that come out with us. We identify tree species in which to maintain and which ones to showcase. And then when the project is completed, we will have a circle route leading from basically the agricultural fairgrounds back around. And near the fairgrounds, we've identified the bones of one of the bridges. It's high and dry, and with the funding, we'll be able to put planking and sides on that. And the pavilion itself was all built out of heavy wappa poles, timbers. The roof had a plywood roofing. So we're in the process of removing that. We will put a new cover. Picnic tables are already in it. So this funding will be utilized to revitalize this trail route, redo the pavilion, have this wonderful bridge connected to this Danish historical bridge that you can walk through during the dry season right out into the fairgrounds, along with a 1-mile circle trail leading back to the pavilion. And then along that trail, we will install our benches, historical signage, tree species signage. So it is a place where we really see that the public, people of all ages, will be able to come and enjoy, bring their family, have a picnic, have a lunch, just discover the forest and some of these amazing tree species.
Okay, can I jump in?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, we went basically through, take a good look at it where and try to, we're in the process of identifying where the ridge walk will take place according to what we can cut out and where we can get to be able to walk through. The gut, as Alma said, wouldn't take that much doing. There was a question was, when would it be available to the public? The walking of the gut, I would say it in a matter of a couple of months, we would have that available according to volunteers. By the way, let me put a little ad in here, that, we can always use help. Most of our help, you'll feel very comfortable if you're a senior. Most of the people that come out with to work and clear the paths and cut the bush and drag it off, and most of the volunteers, both in the hiking group as well as in the VI Trail Alliance, have been seniors. And, we try to do things during the week as well as the weekend, because we know people, are more available sometimes during the weekend. So we do vary when we go. But let me just say, you would be more than welcome, Troy included, if you want to come out and help us. The sooner the better. And we can't put really a deadline on anything, because it's according to how many people come out to help and how rough the going is.
Yeah, I'm listening to both of you. I'm just amazed that I've been driving on Center Line Road, or Queen Mary Highway as it's now called, for all of my life, and never knew there was this trail right off the road. Never seen it, never heard of it. I'm still trying to envision it. So I look forward to getting out there and seeing what it looks like now and how it evolves into the future. Really exciting work. And so, Alma, will you all be doing benches and way signs and all of those wonderful little features like you did up at Windsor Farms?
Yes, we're building off that same template. We do signs on metal backgrounds. We work with My Brother's Workshop to actually get those on posts, and they come out and assist us to install them. And the VI Trail Alliance, we do have a small trail grooming machine with augers, which we can actually install the signage, which makes our work much easier, and to carry things along the trail. But every trail day is a new experience, and they're just as much fun to build as they are to use.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. And so, Stephen, in your work with the St. Croix Hiking Association, after this project, are you seeing other hiking trail revitalizations in the future?
This island, we have trails that previous, excuse me, that Marilyn, not Marilyn, Maria, banged out in 2017 that we have to bring back to life. So there's no end to the list of what we can do on this island.
One of the
Yes.
examples of the trail that we have collaborated on recently, and this was really brought to us through the community. Community wanted to see the trail to the lighthouse improved. And so we collaborated with the St. Croix administrator, DPW, and we were able to get the road improvements up to the beginning of the trail. We were able to use our machine. We hand cleared up around the lighthouse itself, and the walking trail is much improved. All the wires and telephone poles that had come down with storms has now been cleared away. So this is an example of our collaboration. And what we really like to focus on are public access properties. So if there's anyone out there who has, knows of an area or would like to have public access trails, please let us know, because that is our target. The other thing that we're really identifying for future trails are the guts surfaces in St. Croix and St. Thomas, because they allow us to go in long linear pathways right from the hilltops down to the seashore, and connecting communities as we go. So lots of more in our future.
Very exciting, very exciting. And as we're coming to the conclusion of the show, Steve, tell us, how can people find out more about the St. Croix Hiking Association?
Okay, it's we have a website, stcroixhikingassociation.org, and so it's available there. There's phone numbers, whether it be in this week's magazine, we have our number available there. There's Facebook, contact information. So, and you can call me or email me. So we are, contactable, if you want to use that word.
Okay.
But one thing I'd like to throw in before you cut me off is I'd like to thank publicly all of our volunteers that have come out, and this wouldn't be possible without volunteers.
Right. Excellent. Yeah. AARP, we certainly appreciate our volunteers too. They make a huge difference in the life of our community and our organizations. And Alma, tell us a little bit about how people can find out more about the Virgin Island Trail Alliance.
Yes, we have a website, and a lot of information is available there. It has galleries of previous projects, proposed projects, concept plans, and we're very reachable through that. If anyone sends an email, I will receive it, and we monitor the site daily. So, and the site is the vitrails.org. And I wanted to really say that this work cannot be done without our volunteers, but also this work cannot be done to the level that we're doing it without the funding. And the funding is very difficult to achieve. And so we really appreciate AARP for the support, the ongoing support through the years, for projects like this and for all the things you do for 50 plus. Thank you.
Wonderful. It's our pleasure. And we thank you both. Have a great Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. We've come to the conclusion.
Thank you, Troy.